Hi, I'm Gina O'Brien. This is speech 3. Here's my note cards. Okay. And here's my audience. Okay. Let's begin. I want you to imagine not ever learning about 9/11, our founding fathers, or even the Constitution. These are all important factors of American culture that we had learned that are very important, that make a foundation for America, correct?
Oh, well, whatever.
We need to learn more about Native American history. Did you know that in order to learn about Native American history, you have to take special courses? I will be citing many credible sources within my speech, and I hope by you listening to my speech, you will gain some type of knowledge that you have never learned before within your history books. I will show you that Native American history is just as important as American history. I will begin by describing some of the myths in Native American history which are not really talked about. And the first one is Thanksgiving. In your history books, it says that the Pilgrims and the Native Americans, they lived and they coexisted peacefully. I want you to know that this is not entirely true, that the Native Americans and the Pilgrims did not coexist peacefully. In fact, according to Muma Selly Jones from the Native Curriculum Early Childhood Classroom, he said that Pilgrims stole seed grains from natives, robbed graves, and exterminated villages. Now, the way that they exterminated these villages is they went to their town. While they were sleeping, they set their villages on fire. This included the men, the women, and the children, and even their pets. So they were burned alive and they had no idea. And if they were so lucky to get buried, they robbed their graves. And some of the stuff that they stole from their graves had no type of value towards them, but it really meant something to the Native American people. They just did it out of spite. Most people, when they think of Thanksgiving, they think of peace and love, harmony, shopping, food. And I also want you to know that this is not entirely true. For Native Americans, Thanksgiving is not about peace and love. It's a very hurtful time. It's a remembrance of the hundreds of thousands, millions of lives lost, the genocide, and in actuality, it is a time for mourning for our people. I'd also like to clarify that in high school history books, it said that Native Americans died of diseases. They don't really go into detail on it. You might get a paragraph or a half a page if you're lucky. And this is a quote from Keith William of University Wire. He states that they failed to describe while Amherst served as Commander-in-Chief of the British troops in North America, he supported giving natives smallpox blankets. Now, imagine going through this rough times, these harsh winter weathers, and somebody's cold, maybe your baby's crying, and somebody hands you a blanket, and you think, wow, what a nice gesture. And in fact, it's filled with smallpox, and this wiped out their nation, and they died very, very sick. And it was just a mean gesture, and it was encouraged. This was known as the first form of biological warfare on American soil. These are some examples of the evil that settlers inflicted. I also want you to know that in 1924, Native Americans were not considered citizens, and they were not able to vote until 1924. This is quoted by Perlman, 18-year-olds get to vote. He stated that this means women and Black Americans before indigenous people on their own land. So we went through slavery. We freed the slaves. We went through the women's rights, all of that. And still Native Americans were not allowed to vote. And I feel like this was the final straw. I feel like this was done on purpose. I feel like this was the last ha-ha. I felt like this was meant to be hurtful. And I want you to know that it is still hurtful if you really think about it. We're the last. A simple solution to solve this problem is to include more Native American history within history books. Or you can perform oral traditions, which the Native Americans used to do. You can talk about it and pass it on to your generation. Another example of what you can do to prevent this problem is you can demand that more Native American history be included in history books. You may be thinking that this is a way of the past, or you grew up fine just knowing what you know about your current education. But I want you to know that this will teach your children to investigate truth and to get both sides of the story so that they can make better judgment. Being informed will make you and your family be more appreciative of living in this wonderful country. As you can see, the solution to this problem is an easy fix. I want you to imagine how we would all see the world differently if we all did research. Being informed would also help people invest with their power of their voting. Imagine teaching not to run from the truth and to handle situations directly. The truth will always prevail. In closing, we can all work together if schools decide not to partake. While current history books show limited knowledge on Native American history, we can assist by doing research of our own. The time is now to teach our children the truths and history about Native American culture and to start at a young age and to quit hiding this precious knowledge. We must work together to bring forward the truths of the Native American history. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. That was good.
Very good.
Okay, here's my audience.